Hey, this is Julian Valderrama. I'm the author of Blueprint for Immortality, the Quantum Code for Life Secrets to Success, and also recently published Life is a Game, the Quantum Code for Life's Principles for Success. And in this riff, I'm going to give you some things to think about, to ponder about, to integrate into your mind, into your thinking. This is something that you should be thinking about quite often, consistently, because it's based on principles and laws of physics that operate at a quantum level, or even I would suggest it's classical physics, but they still relate to what happens to you. And these laws operate before you can think about them. And the second you think about them, the law still operates, which creates a different result in your life, which makes you think about it again, which changes your life. And it's a cycle. It's a perpetual cycle of creation. So be aware of that. And specifically here, we're going to talk about entropy. And what is entropy? Have you ever had a day or a week, maybe you remember a month, when your mind was consistently negative? Maybe you experience feelings of despondency, depression, stress, anxiety. Maybe you are angry a lot, or maybe you're constantly battling with self-defeating thoughts in your mind. Maybe thoughts that tell you that you're no good, that you're a loser, or that you can't do the things that you want to do, accomplish the things you want to do. And maybe your environment reinforces this thinking. So strongly consider what I'm about to describe to you. Essentially, negative thinking is this. What you are dealing with is called the law of entropy, and it is compounded with the law of hypnotic rhythm. This has been referred as the law of attraction, but it's kind of a misnomer because there are other nuances that are related to these laws. Don't worry about it too much if you don't understand it. Just know that they exist. Essentially, what entropy is specifically designed to erode your thinking. Think of a brand new house. If nobody lives in it for years, the home will fall apart. Your yard needs care. Otherwise, it gets fungus, it gets weeds, it gets dry spots. And actually, if you just leave it alone, weeds are going to take over your yard. And that's significant as a symbol of what can happen to your thinking, to the way you perceive life. It's highly significant. Pay close attention to this. It's highly relevant to the way you live your life. And that is because all of life is subject to decomposition. And all systems of energy, frequency, or vibration lose energy. Negative thinking is just a physical manifestation of the law of entropy. But consider this. The mind's power, your mind, is powerful enough to counterbalance this force. Factually, you can transcend these forces of the universe that seem to work against you. And in fact, these forces are meek in comparison to the power of your mind. So be aware of that. And what you need is a system that builds you up as a person, that feeds your mind to integrate well-established neural pathways of knowledge that you know specifically, that you can recall, like pillars of strength to essentially combat or battle negative thinking. yeah, and we're talking specifically about your mind and how it works and what has to happen. And that is because entropy is consistently eroding these thoughts. And it's manifesting into your mind in the same way that it will just manifest weeds in your yard or manifest mold in your kitchen or your bathroom, or termites eating the insides of your house. This is entropy working, always working. It's a law, it's a principle of life that you have to become aware thereof, or it will eat your life away. This happens. But this system's designed for us to not be complacent, to not just sit on our butts and do nothing about what's going on in our life, because life hates idleness. You actually pay a price for idling, for being idle. And what you need is a system that includes teachings that teach you to be hyper aware of how these laws operate. If you are not aware how the laws of the universe operate in your mind, you are at a huge disadvantage. And in fact, if you don't learn to master life, life will master you. Nature builds on systems of energy that support life. And if you continue to wallow on negativity, life will continue to erode your systems of energy. And yes, negative thinking is harmful. We can use the word here, sinful. And it's not per se a religious concept, but it's a concept of fact. Because once the energy or the negative energy of your negative thoughts saturate your essence, you pay with critical mass. Illness, disease, feeling bad, and many times death. This is observably true. Be aware of this. And what happens is that we may need consciousness surgery, because the law of attraction or the law of hypnotic rhythm will cement your patterns of negative thinking and action. Your reality will always reflect your most predominant patterns of energetic output. And yes, the universe is a merciless mirror. So you might be thinking to yourself, okay, what can I do now that I know this? What I'm about to read to you is found on page 55 of my first book, Blueprint for Immortality, The Quantum Code for Life Secrets to Success. And here we're talking about how the opposite of faith is fear, which relates to entropy. And this sentence relates to the word sin, which we will now break down even more. A person of faith pictures a desired result and knows without a doubt it will happen. The person of faith at least exercises faith so that even if he has doubts, he persists because of the strong desire. A person who exercises fear is in the habit of thinking about and talking about what they don't want to happen. The opposite of faith is fear. People who are in fear are generally mostly negative. The passage from the scripture that says that, quote unquote, anything that does not originate from faith is sin, is, in essence, describing the same exact thing, fear. And it has been said that fear is just an acronym that stands for false expectations appearing real. This also denotes the idea that every form of thought or action, every form of vibrational frequency broadcast from your brain is either positive or negative. There is no neutral ground, no fence which one could straddle between both realms. We are either successful in creating a reality based on what we want, or successful in creating a reality based on what we don't want. This will be determined based on our thinking habits and patterns of behavior, period. It is important that through our power of discernment, we become observing people who have successfully transferred our dreams and goals from the field of energetic waves and particles of infinite possibility to the more defined world of energy in time and space. Or do we observe people who generally have lives which manifest their doubts and fears? And more importantly, do we take counsel from them? It is the desire now to also establish another point that we have previously mentioned. It is our moral obligation to create our dreams and think about what we want. Otherwise, we are creating the opposite, what we don't want. And it has been shown in the field of healthcare that stress is the number one cause of illness and disease, which leads to death. See, that's entropy. People are tired and sick, exhausted because the body is in a state of constant survival. The excess adrenaline and hormones that are being pumped through the body to help each person just bear his own existence obviously saps the body of strength and vigor. Thus, the body becomes prone to illness and disease. Stress does eventually kill us. This has been the sad destiny of all humankind since the beginning. It is funny how the biblical reference alludes to the idea of sin in connection with death, for it does say that the wages that sin pays is death. Also think of the placebo and nocebo effect. This is established medical and scientific fact and is considered strongly every time a new drug or treatment is created to treat illness and disease. Placebo is defined as, quote unquote, a harmless pill, medicine, or procedure prescribed more for the psychological benefit to the patient than for any physiological effect. In testing, a group of people will be told that a certain drug or treatment will be given to them to treat an illness or disease that they have. Half will be given the actual drug and the other half will be given a placebo in the form of a sugar pill. Many times those who take the sugar pills will be cured or made better more readily than the drug which was specifically designed to help them. By observation, it is their belief that cures them, even though they took a sugar pill. Let's now consider the Nocebo Effect. A definition for nocebo is, quote unquote, a detrimental effect on health produced by psychological or psychosomatic factors, such as negative expectations of treatment or prognosis. In this scenario, fear of the substance or imagined negative consequence will make the body react exactly how the person was expecting, negatively, but it does not happen as a result of the thing itself that is feared. The point must be firmly established. It seems obvious that just because we decide to think positive all the time and follow our dreams and passions, it does not guarantee that we're going to stay alive and never die. But here's another plausible idea. If we think positive about life, in the context of the following quote by Nikola Tesla, By law, then, it is what exactly must happen. Quote, if the genius of invention were to reveal tomorrow the secret of immortality, of eternal beauty and youth, for which all humanity is aching, the same inexorable agents which prevent a mass from changing suddenly, its velocity will likewise resist the force of the new knowledge until time gradually modifies human thought. End quote. Here Nikola is emphasizing that the thought itself, that of immortality, eternal beauty, and youth, is possible as long as people believe in its probability. Most people accept that as a natural reality and a process of life, and as such it is our present reality. These thought processes that have established our current reality are the inexorable agents which prevent the particles from changing suddenly. But it is new knowledge that is persistently introduced into the whole mass that will change such reality. What knowledge will eventually and gradually modify the collective consciousness agreement of death? Consider the following scripture reference that parallels Tesla's comment. Quote, for the weapons of our warfare are not fleshly, but powerful by God for overturning strongly entrenched things. For we are overturning reasonings and every lofty thing raised up against the knowledge of God, and we are bringing it into captivity to make it obedient to Christ. End quote. Taken from 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. The weapons of warfare refer to knowledge of the universe itself. The knowledge of how creation works will help us remove or overturn strongly entrenched things. The inexorable agents that Nikola Tesla described will be modified by new knowledge for the proper recognition of the basic laws of the universe and how they relate to our personal and collective lives, will enforce a new creative shift of thought in our minds. Interestingly, Christ was an expert at using the laws of physics to create powerful changes in people's lives. We are, without question, aching because we have not discovered the solution to death. In reality, if we think about it hard enough, the only problem or the only powerful energetic barrier we have not solved is death. The only thing wrong with life is death. The fact that we age and die is absolutely no way natural to human beings. We are made different. Animals just live on instinct, therefore their potential is restricted. But we have infinite potential. The laws of physics explain that it is so. Our entire human genome and vibrational blueprint testify to these truths. Consider what quantum physics has told us about vibration in connection to the ether or matrix of energy and the constant of particle-wave duality. Since particles of energy can become anything upon broadcast, and the fact that even Tesla came to the cognition of such possibility, it means biological eternity already exists in the etheric energy field. It would only take a small amount of people relative to the billions on Earth to change the present reality if they just change their mind to a much positive one. The positive energy, which is much more powerful than any present negative thought, will permeate the entire field, the ether, and the energy will continue to ascend until the tipping point spills onto the field of energy defined by time and space. Every day, this energy is exponentially growing, and we are at the edge of its manifestation. This will continue to be discussed throughout the book. With a sort of eternity defining our bodies and eternal youth, our potential then will be really limitless. Consider the thought that we are made in the image of God Himself. Or maybe we are sons of the universe whose nature is eternal or infinite. In essence, we are the sons of an eternal God or an infinite universe. Therefore, our nature must be infinite. It is not suggested that they are one and the same, but in connection to both ideas of God or the universe, we, therefore, must be eternal. Since that is the case, then that is exactly what must happen. Or at least, it is what was supposed to happen. What went wrong? Why is that not the case? Let's examine with careful thought what we are talking about here. For as we previously stated, it is absolutely our moral obligation to achieve and align ourselves to the laws and the nature of the physical universe. Okay, this is the end of this riff. I highly suggest, if you have not already done so, to support this channel by buying this book that is being read to you. Life is a Game, The Quantum Code for Life's Principles for Success, and my previous volume, Blueprint for Immortality, The Quantum Code for Life's Secrets to Success. Also, go ahead and put a like on this video if you feel it is valuable. Also, share this with loved ones, friends, and this will help raise awareness of this kind of life-changing knowledge. So consider that, because what you do for others, you do for yourself. What you fail to do for others, you also fail to do for yourself. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And also go ahead and put a comment below if you feel you have any questions, comments, or observations. I certainly love to read that from you. Let me know, what did you like best and what you got out of it, of what you heard today. And don't forget, life is a game, and this is the quantum code for life's principles for success.